Hi, this is Eric from longboxreview.com. Welcome to the show. And I want to just start off by saying I'm not going anywhere. So if you listened to to the show announcement on April 1st, 2023, Madison came on to announce my retirement from the show and what her plans were for taking over the show. So as you may have guessed, if you haven't already, that was a bit of fun on our part. However, I did get some responses online that made me think I needed to clarify this information, this misinformation, this fake news that Madison. I'm putting it all on her, but really that was my idea. So, and she was a good sport to play along, and I hope everybody had fun with it as much as we did. But it is funny because she has told me often that when I do actually stop doing the show, she wants to take it over. Now, who knows what life will bring her way down the road if she really wants to do something like that. But I think it'd be kind of fun, a second generation podcast. So who knows? Who knows? Anyway, like I said, I hope that was a bit of April Fool's fun. I will not do something like that again, I think, in the future. Anyway, regardless, I wanted to take this opportunity to make that announcement, but also to have fun on my part by talking about one of my very favorite comic books of all time. And I'm referring to the New Teen Titans number 38. This is volume 1. This came out, it was cover dated January 1984. It was on sale in October of 1983 with a cover price of 75 cents. This is available, obviously, in back issue if you can find it, which if I've discovered anything in the last, I'll say 10 years, going to various comic book shops, it seems easy to find the first volume of the New Teen Titans in back issue bins for pretty cheap, which I think is quite wrong. But at the same time, it's quite good because that way people who are discovering the wonders that were George Perez's work and Marv Wolfman's work on the New Teen Titans, along with the various inkers and colorists. And letterers, it's a fantastic series, and I plan on talking about more of this because it's one of my very favorites. Besides the Legion, the New Teen Titans is one of my very favorite comic book series of all time. Anyway, this besides being available in print, it is available on the DC Universe Infinite app, Comixology, and Hoopla. If you get the New Teen Titans Volume 6 trade paperback, which I also have, and it was fun to do a comparison, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute, a comparison mostly for the color differences between the print issue that I bought in 1983 and this new trade collection. Or I guess it's not new, but this trade collection of the New Teen Titans. So I actually discussed this issue a little bit on episode 28 of the Fantastic Comic Fan podcast. This was in May of 2022. But when RT and I were talking about, well, what do we want to talk about? I immediately thought of this because it is a good sort of done in one issue of the New Teen Titans, featuring my favorite Titan, Robin, Dick Grayson, and Donna Troy, Wonder Girl. But I had so many notes that I took because I just took this opportunity and started writing all these notes about the things I loved about the issue. And so, like I said, we only touched on it a little bit, and we went into more of Wonder Girl's history and her publication history and whatnot. So I wanted to take advantage of all those notes and to talk about, like I said, one of my very favorite comic books of all time, this issue 38 of the New Teen Titans. So, shall we just get into it? Like I said, it's a done-in-one issue featuring my favorite character, Dick Grayson, my favorite superhero character. If you listen to the recent Quemens episode, I was asked who are my top 5 favorite comic book characters, and I mentioned Dick Grayson being, I normally refer to him as my favorite superhero character. Regardless, he's in this issue doing something so normal for a superhero, but so important, which is helping a friend. It was unlike anything I'd read in superhero comics at that time, although I can't remember the issue off the top of my head now, 8? The Day in the Life issue that they did, where we saw all of the new Teen Titans in basically in their secret identity guises. I guess that's not a guise if it's your non-superhero identity. Anyway, they were just, hanging out with friends or family and doing stuff, and that was the first time I'd ever seen a superhero comic book do something like that. And then 30 issues later, they follow up with this. And, over the years, it's just become in my mind and in my heart, one of the greatest superhero comic books of all time. And then, of course, there's the icing on the cake, which is the George Perez and Romeo Tangle art, which is, Adrian Roy doing the colors, Ben Oda does the letters. But I'll get to that because there's actually something on the first 2 pages that I want to talk about. So I'm jumping ahead already, as is my want, I guess. Anyway, so what is this issue about? And I took this long paragraph from the DC Fandom Wiki, so credit to them, whoever wrote this. Rescued from a burning apartment building as an infant by Wonder Woman and raised by Queen Hippolyta on Paradise Island, Donna, Wonder Girl Troy, has never known her true identity. Now, with their wedding in the offing, Terry Long asks Robin to investigate the secret of Donna's unknown past. At the site of the fire-gutted building, Robin finds a child's doll, which Donna vaguely remembers. Subjecting the doll to chemical and computer analysis, he traces it to a kindly old toy shop owner who once repaired it for a Mrs. Cassidy of Willowbrook Orphanage in Virginia. Locating Mrs. Cassidy in a nursing home in Florida, Dick brings Donna to meet her, and they learn that Donna's mother had brought her to the orphanage when she learned she was dying of cancer. Donna's mother, that is. Too many pronouns in there for my taste. Donna was then adopted by a couple named Stacy. Returning to Virginia, they find the former Mrs. Faye Stacy, now remarried as Faye Evans, and foster mother and daughter are tearfully reunited. Dick and Donna learn that 2 years after Donna's adoption, her foster father had been killed in an accident, and his wife, penniless, had been forced to give Donna up for readoption. Donna is satisfied at this, but Robin investigates further and discovers that the couple who died in the apartment building fire had not adopted Donna, but were go-betweeners for a child-selling scheme run by a crooked lawyer. Finally aware of her past, Donna visits the grave of her natural mother, Dorothy Hinckley. And there are lots of tears. This is a very emotional issue, and I'll get to some of what that means to me here in a bit. But all right, so that is what it's about. So what is it? What's my reaction? And I'm going to go through this sometimes page by page. So bear with me. So let's start with the cover. We've got the New Teen Titans number 38 here with, interestingly enough, it's got Marv Wolfman, George Perez, and Romeo Tangle on the cover. And I should have looked this up to see if they were putting Romeo on the covers at this time, or if this is a special issue, and they did this. And I say that because the cover looks painted to me, and they only did that one other time before, which was annual number 1 from 1982, I believe. And painted covers were back then anyway were they signified something special. And so this cover here, it shows Dick Grayson in a trench coat, an overcoat. He still has his Robin costume on underneath it, but he's kind of in the background in that building that Donna was found in all those years ago. And in the foreground are pictures of Wonder Girl as a young girl, as a teenager, and then now, and those are in black and white, and then the color one to signify where she's at today is the close up of her, and a bigger poster than the other two, which I thought that was great because as a little girl, it's a small little poster. As a teenager, it's slightly bigger, and then much bigger, almost 3 times bigger than the teenage one. So, and in the background, behind Robin is it's the parts of the building that are still standing in black with this like deep blue, almost purplish coloring behind him. To signify it, he's looking at night. Plus, there's a flashlight, and kind of an oddly placed flashlight. He's got it kind of sitting on something next to him, but it's pointing ahead of him. But he's looking down at, I can't tell actually. What is it? The doll? Maybe I cannot. I can't really tell what that is. I'm going to look at the trade paperback and see if that gives me any other clue. I think it is. So yeah, this it evokes a bit of a noir feeling to me, and of course, this being an investigation, a detective story, trying to find out the truth of Donna's past. That makes a lot of sense. So anyway, all right. So of course, also it says, "Who is Donna Troy?" And that comes in much later in the. I think starting with issue 50, and the whole shenanigans with a Crisis and Wonder Woman not showing up until later. And so if Wonder Woman saved Donna from the burning building, but she didn't show up until later, how is Wonder Girl even here? Anyway, so they had to redo her origin, and then we get a story called Who is Wonder Girl in the 50s, and that also featured the return, I believe, if my memory serves, the return of George Perez to the title for a short period. All right, so let's get into it. So like I said, the first 2 pages have the credits. And again, you could tell this is a very important issue because of the way that they presented this. And it's very cinematic. And, the very, very top panel of this, it says DC Comics presents. Next panel, a Wolfman/Perez production, and then we see a shot of the cityscape with the setting sun behind it, and then we see Dick Grayson sipping some coffee, presumably in what looks like an office, a detective office, a detective's office, and then the title of the series, The New Teen Titans. Next panel, Who is Donna Troy? So it's almost like, well, besides like a movie, this could be an episode of a detective series too. Script by Marv Wolfman, from a plot by Wolfman and Perez, art by George Perez, and Romeo Tangle. And so all these are interspersed on various panels on this page. As we see Dick Grayson, like I said, he's sipping his coffee, then he goes over to his desk, he turns on the desk light, and the last panel is him, his face illuminated a bit by the light. Turn the page, and we're not done yet, folks. He's looking at a photo of Wonder Girl, and he's got a slight smile on his face. And this is where we get the lettering by Ben Oda and coloring by Adrian Roy in the next 2 panels. We get a few more panels of him. So he's pulling out this recorder. We see a picture of Starfire on his desk, and he sits down and he starts recording. Personal report, September 6, 1983. Back when comics would actually put in dates, still dating it very much. But here we go. The Case of Donna Troy, Day 1, and we get a close up of Dick's profile here, and then the final credit here, edited by Len Wein. And I love this, like I said, this cinematic way of presenting what this comic is, who it's by, setting up Dick Grayson. We'd never seen him be in an office like this, have an office, so I don't know if this is something that, I don't recall it ever being something that was shown again, but I love this idea that Dick has his own little space that he goes to make notes about his cases. I love it. I will say at this point, here's where the coloring differences between the issue that I have and the trade paperback, because in my issue, that first page, the sunset the fading sunlight coming in to the office is these really deep purples. And the light, the desk lamp that Dick turns on, it illuminates in bluish light, whereas and then you turn the page, and then suddenly the sunset outside is more reddish, and then the light is yellow. So I think there was some coloring, either a printing issue or a printing miscommunication. I don't know. This being colored by Adrienne Roy back then, I kind of think it was a printing issue because she was phenomenal. In the trade version, the setting sun out on that first page is all in reds, and the lighting that we see, including the desk lamp, is in yellows. So it better matches what we see on page 2. And just basically the colors in the trade collection are just more vibrant. Obviously better paper now, whiter paper than the newsprint that we had back then. And I mostly prefer the coloring in the trade actually than in this issue, because some of the stuff, the blacks are not quite, they're not true blacks. The coloring is a bit muddy, especially in the night scenes, but still a wonderfully done comic book for that time. And since I'm talking about all this color stuff in the trade paperback, the coloring credit, it says here, interior color reconstruction by Pacific Rim Graphics. So they did a good job. All right, page 2, we learn several things. Dick smiles while looking at Donna's photo. Like I mentioned, it establishes their friendship. We see, like I said, we see Corey's photo, his girlfriend, reinforces that again. Donna is a friend. However, I wouldn't, I knew this going into this issue, but how would a new person, if this was the first issue of the New Teen Titans that they read, how would they interpret these two women and the way he's slightly smiling, looking at Donna, but then he's got this other photo here? How would that person interpret those relationships? So like I said, he's actually recording his notes on a cassette, which also dates it, right? But does that mean that there are Titans case files too? So he says in here, he said it was his personal report. So I imagine he also does case files for the Titans cases. So that'd be, that would be a great opportunity for the storytellers to, do a jumping back into the past to do a case file story, and you could get different artists. And I don't know why they didn't do more stuff like that. On page 3, so we see Robin standing near at the seashore, and he's talking about some issues that he's had recently, and so he has his own personal demons to contend with, and then and I don't know if Dick thinks this is like a great distraction from that or an intrusion, because the way that it's worded, well, hold on, I'll get to it. But anyway, he accepts the request to help out Donna in this way. He says here, so Terry Long is in case you don't know, the fiance, the much controversial older professor fell in love with Wonder Girl and she him, and so now they're finally going to get married. But that won't happen for another 12 issues, something like that. Anyway, so Terry comes along. Did I interrupt something? I was just standing here, Dick says. I know, but did I interrupt? I'm used to it, Dick says. Anyway, yeah, so Dick is a man of many layers. And I also love the bit here as he's contemplating, he's lost in his thoughts. I grew up surrounded by a sea of faces awash with the myriad emotions of all mankind. That's pretty deep for a comic book in 1983. The rapturous joy of circus goers, the panicky fright of fleeing felons, the warm tenderness of fast and good friends. I just love what Wolfman's throwing down here in terms of the characterization of Dick Grayson. I love how Perez orchestrates this scene, though. We get an establishing shot, like I said, of Dick standing there at the seaside. Many slim panels to focus on the characters, going back from wider shots to close-ups, back and forth, introducing Terry, the two of them together, pulling back out as they're walking along, closer together when we're talking about the emotional stuff of what Terry wants Dick Grayson to do. So I just wonderfully done. I always is by Mr. Perez. On the next page, this is where Dick Grayson is going to, because he said, okay, I'll do this, but I need to talk to Donna first. And so Robin goes to Donna Troy's apartment, which, okay. And so she's recounting her origin with her as a baby in the fire. And then she says, except for her uniform, I don't even remember Wonder Woman. But I can still see her golden lasso sparkling so brightly through the fire. And so this is another wonderful, I don't know if this is probably Romeo Tango, right? I don't know. But we see Wonder Woman coming in to rescue her. It's an over-the-shoulder shot, but you don't see Wonder Woman's face, which that is a lovely extenuation of what Donna just said about I don't even remember Wonder Woman. So, and then as far as the lasso, I just want to point this out in the single issue, you can see the lasso, and it's kind of got this outline indicating a glow. And then in the trade paperback version, what they did was they drew the strands of the lasso to be a different color. It's not black like it's shown here in issue 38. And then you also have the glow. So I thought that was also another improvement in the coloring in the trade paperback, which it's odd for me. Every time I say these things, it's odd for me to say because usually I prefer the coloring of the original issue. We get more of Donna's origin. She accepts that Dick is going to do this for her. He tells them both, this is my engagement gift to them, because Terry was offering twice so far in 6 pages, he offered to pay Dick Grayson a fee, just like you would any detective. Then both Dick and Donna go to the old building, and then here on page 7, we get a panel of them inside the building, and it's almost exactly like what we see on the cover. Only this time, instead of posters of Wonder Girl, we see, the danger, this building is condemned, do not enter. But we see them in the background. And there's a panel here where Donna says, it's a constant, this building is a constant sore reminder of what I've missed. And then we go to Dick's internal monologue, what she'd missed. I guess it's hard for everyone to shake off past tragedies and move on into the future. But what I love about this panel here, as Dick is starting to monologue, is that we see Donna looking up and around this burned building, and she has this almost angry look on her face. It's like she's being assaulted by her memories of the past, the lack of knowledge of her past, and the being here physically, like I said, is physically assaulting her. I just love that depiction. That was a great choice on Perez's part. Dick is looking around, and he finds that doll that was mentioned in the summary. And I love here, as he's pulling it out of this coal bin, we see Donna's face. What could this possibly have to do with me? We get a close-up on her face where we see her eye. Dick saying maybe nothing, maybe everything, and then an extreme close-up of Donna's eye, and her eye has gone wide, as Dick is saying, inside is a doll, and she says, "Oh my Lord, I don't know, Dick, but seeing it makes me feel strange, like it's the most important thing in my life." And just I love how Wolfman and Perez here are really getting into the emotions of this character, because Donna Troy, there really wasn't much to her. They didn't do much with her, except that she had this older boyfriend, and she had this past with the gods. And she was a photographer, and those are the things that's what she is. But they didn't really she doesn't have the past that everybody else perhaps does, or that they explored in this series. Like with the new characters, there was a miniseries, Tales of the New Teen Titans, where they explored each of the new characters, Cyborg, although Changeling technically wasn't new, but newer, Raven and Starfire, and each got their own spotlight issue. And until now, we didn't get something like that for Donna. Back to that scene, she takes that doll and she's hugging it, and there's a tear coming out of her eye as she says, "So why does it make me feel so good?" And I just love that little bit, what a tender and personal moment that is for her, and she doesn't even understand the significance of it yet, but she feels very strongly. That leads them to go talking to a character called Mrs. Channing, who was married to the person who, the building superintendent, I guess. Anyway, I love the details here. The focus is on her, this older woman with these dogs, but in the establishing shot of them going to her apartment, we see garbage on the side and bars across the windows and stuff. What looks like to me, and not having ever been to, is this supposed to be New York? That's how I took it. I don't know. Maybe it's DC. I don't know. I have no idea now that I'm actually thinking about it. But it looks like apartment buildings I've seen on television, so it rings true to me. Wherever this actually is. But then you go inside the apartment, and there's all these details, all this stuff on the floor, dog food, chairs, boxes. It's just, just these these are extensive details depicting this woman's life in this small apartment with her dogs. I love it. I love it. Also, we get the wonderfully sculpted bodies that are Robin and Wonder Girl, and then we get this older woman. It's kind of, she's older. She has a bit of weight, and that's one of the things I've always loved about Perez's art, is that he was a master also at depicting different body types, different ages of people, hairstyles. I mean, the guy was just so good. Later, they leave that apartment, and they've kind of hit a dead end with Mrs. Channing. So Dawn is a bit distraught, and she's given up. She says, "Somewhere in my head, I've got a past that I've got to leave in the past. Only it hurts, Dick." She says some more stuff, and then finally, there's this great another slim. Again, just highlighting how great Perez was. In this very slim panel of Donna, we're seeing her from behind the shoulder, and she's kind of looking out over the city. But just the look on her face, she says, "I wish you hadn't begun this." And you could just see the despair that's kind of growing or there already inside of her because of this setback. She was trepidatious before, but I think a little excited, and now they've hit this setback, and it's too painful to consider what she still doesn't have. Of course, Dick doesn't give up, and he continues his investigation. And this scene here, this quick, was it? Well, really, it's two pages of Dick Grayson going through investigative techniques, going through the motions, and slowly but surely finding out more information. And I can't think of another comic book or issue that I've read in the last 35, 40 years where something like this is shown in the way that this is shown, because this really slows down the story. There's no action here. It's just him doing detective work. And I love that. I love that we get to see his skills in a different way than we've seen before as Robin. It also, things like this, it it made me want to be a detective. Anyway, so he's running down more clues. He talks to the toy maker, but it's through a large bit of luck that a a person at his hotel, I believe, in Newport News. This guy comes in and says, "Excuse me, I hear tell you're looking for Miss Elmira," who was the person who ran the orphanage that Donna was at. And he reveals that he was a gardener there, and then basically points Dick in the direction of this person that he's trying to find. And he says here, "Funny thing, just when you're ready to give up, something new comes your way. Thank heaven for luck." I don't know what Batman would think about that, but anyway, he calls Donna and says, "I think you want to come up for this." And then we see them in a car. They're in Florida now, and I just love. There's again there's a lot of thin panels in this issue. Like, for example, on page 12 here, there's 5 at the bottom. The bottom half are 5 slim panels, and then we got 4 other panels above that, right? And so it just there's a lot of information being conveyed, but it doesn't seem crowded. It doesn't seem like I'm not lost. The storytelling is perfect in here. And I just love it. Plus, you get wonderful details like this, where they're, like I said, they're driving along this road to wherever Miss Elmira is. This nursing home, the Sun Harbor Nursing Home. That's where it is. Anyway, we see the window's down because Donna has her arm out, and the way Perez draws hair is just fantastic. It's just blowing in the wind, and so is Dick's across from her. He's wearing these sunglasses, slightly odd-shaped sunglasses, and he's wearing a suit. He's got a vest and tie on. Page 13, more of this. They're talking, and the hair is just impeccable. The way I love it. And then they get out, like I said, and we see Dick wearing a suit. And, just very handsome. And you don't see suits a whole lot on superhero characters. Well, I guess maybe Bruce Wayne every once in a while. But anyway, I don't remember seeing that on Dick Grayson all that much. And I have to say, in just these 2 pages, 12 and 13, seeing Donna this way, like I said, with the hair, she's wearing this cute little dress. I think this is the issue where I fell in love with Donna Troy. Like, seriously had a crush on this fictional character. There's a point earlier in the issue where Dick Grayson talks about how, he could have fell in love with her, but he now loves Donna more than that because of their history, just, getting to know each other. And he doesn't call it the love of a sister, but it's just this intense love that he feels for this other person that's not his lover, like Starfire, right? So I kind of feel like that with her. Only I wanted Donna to be real, and I wanted her to be my girlfriend. And I was too old for that kind of nonsense. I knew, but still, just credit to Wolfman and Perez, especially Perez, to depict this young woman in such a way that I was head over heels and wanted those two, Dick and Donna, to get together. Sorry, Starfire. Donna does learn a little bit from Elmira, and because Elmira recognizes the doll that Dick found, and we find out that Donna is actually Donna's name. And then we find out this is where Dorothy Hinckley, she had cancer, so she leaves Donna there. And then Donna is adopted by the Stacys. And here's lots of tears. First, we see Dorothy Hinckley crying as she leaves Donna there, and then Donna is just overcome by this newfound knowledge. She says here on page 16, I can't believe it, but I know who I am. You did it, Dick. You did it. And she hugs Elmira, promising to come visit her, telling her, you're the most wonderful person in the world. And these are tears of joy. It's such a feel-good issue. They leave, but they go to a restaurant because, as Dick says, suddenly Donna was famished. I don't think I've ever seen her eat so much. They return to Virginia, and this is where. So this is page 17. This is where I break down every time I read this. In fact, I reread this issue last night to prepare for this, and I got to this scene, and I lost it. So thankfully, with the magic of editing, you won't realize I'm probably going to do this too as I talk about this. Anyway, they're driving through this Virginia neighborhood where Donna insisted she drive through the town. It's funny, yesterday I didn't remember anything. Now it's all coming back, she says. I remember this place. It all feels so right. Dick says, why are you turning? I don't know. I just felt like I should, like, that house. That house, that's it. I remember it like it was yesterday. That's my house. I've got to see it. And Dick's like, are you sure? And we see Donna, and she's shaking. The scene shifts to the people that are outside in the front yard of this house. The man says, Faye, are you expecting anyone? Those people are staring. And she says, no, I wasn't, but... And at this point, Donna has stepped out of the car. She's holding the doll, and Dick is getting out of the car too. Donna says, I thought the fire, the bodies. Faye, who are you? Why are you? No, it's been too long. It can't be. But it is. I know that face anywhere. It's you. Donna? Donna? And we switch from seeing Donna still visibly shaking, and she's crying and clutching the doll, and Faye has got tears coming down her face. And then they just go and they hug each other. Dick says, first they just stared at each other, then suddenly they were together, as if they belonged that way. And then we find out, like I said, the Stacys had adopted Donna, but Papa Stacey died, and Faye was, in the same situation as Donna's birth mother, and so she took Donna back. She could not afford. What does she say? I don't want to misrepresent here. What I did have hardly paid for his funeral. I married Carl right out of high school. I didn't have any skills. I was scared. And the lawyer from the adoption agency, Mr. Harrison, he said if I was bankrupt, the state wouldn't let me keep Donna. I didn't know what to do. But he said Donna would be adopted by other parents who could support and love her. It would be the best for her, he said. I'm so sorry, Donna. Please forgive me. And of course she does. And then because of all this, these revelations, more memories are starting to resurface, and she has a memory of the awful people that were the go-betweens, holding on to her until they could sell Donna to another couple, I guess. Of course, Donna's crying throughout this whole scene, and then one of the things I love about this issue is that Hank is Faye's husband now. Hank says, Hank says, after Faye apologizes about being embarrassed about what happened and never told him and all this stuff, Faye, you did what you thought you had to do. And as for you, young lady, I do believe we've added a new member to the family. And then they all hug. And then we see more. There's pictures of Donna with Mr. Stacey and Faye when they were younger. And she's just, again, Donna is just crying throughout all this. But something's bothering Dick Grayson, and so he leaves. Dick leaves and goes to a prison where Mr. Harrison is serving time for his role in all this. And he's there as Robin. He threatens Harrison to tell him information, or, he says, the Batman and I have many enemies in this prison. If it should leak out that you are my stoolie... Robin showing a bit of edge where he normally doesn't, but this is the thing that Dick wanted to find out. Harrison admits, I gave the kid to my go-betweens. They pretended they were the real parents, and they were waiting in an apartment Sam Channing let me use to sell the kid for $20,000. And then the accident happened that burned the building down. And so as he says here in a little bit, he's back with Donna. They've gone to her birth mother, Dorothy's, gravesite. At last it was over. I had to know if the couple who died in the building had also adopted Donna. Thankfully, they hadn't. I'd done my job, and I don't think I'd ever felt better in my life. And so he and Donna have another conversation. Donna is feeling very good about all this information. She now feels like she can move forward with her life. And being the upstanding guy that Dick Grayson is, he presents Donna with a repaired doll. That doll that Uncle Max was the guy, the toy shop guy that would repair dolls for the orphanage. And so Dick had that guy repair the doll, and he gives it to Donna, and she says, "Oh, Dick, I think I'm going to cry." Which, more tears. So, and then we get the final page, which is page 23, and we're back in the office. It's later. Dick turns off the. There's no dialogue in the first 2/3 of this page. He's just sitting there silently. He looks over at a picture of Corey, again with a slight smile on his face, different than the smile that he had when he was looking at the picture of Donna. He picks up the phone and calls her. The end. Perfect bookend. We start off in the office, the dark office with the sun setting, and we end with that. So a great issue. It just masterful storytelling. With this, you have to read this issue. I did not do it justice. Obviously, I spent a lot of time going through the individual pages, but there was all this other stuff, all these other details. Everything is just so well done in this issue. I think part of the reason why I love this issue so much is that I too was adopted by my father. I actually don't know who my birth father is. I've been told a couple different things by various people in my family. Unfortunately, my mom passed away many years ago, and she never told me she told me that I was adopted, but she never, she told me who my father was. And then I found out from other family members that was not true. It was this other person. I don't know what the truth is. But that scene where Donna gets out of the car when she sees her mother and the rest of her new family there. I've been through something like that. No tearful reunions with a father figure, but I've been through that emotional roller coaster that they expertly depicted in this issue. So I feel a real connection, and maybe that's why I kind of fell in love with Donna, because I was experiencing all those emotions with her as I read the story, and God still, as I said before, through the magic of editing, you didn't hear me break down as I was trying to read through that scene, because I did. It's just I can't help it. It's so powerful. Yeah. I love this stuff. Anyway, one of the things that RT and I talked about on his episode, like I said, we talked a little bit about this issue, and then we kind of got into Donna's history a little bit, especially her publication history. And so, so I have a few notes on that to end on. We first know of Donna's origin, about the burning building and Wonder Woman saving her from Teen Titans number 22 from 1969. And that's when they also introduced her very familiar, well, maybe not familiar to new readers now because she's in a black suit, but that red jumpsuit with the yellow stars on it that people my age know very well. That, of course, like I said, with DC removing Wonder Woman from continuity because of Crisis, we had the Who is Wonder Girl story in New Teen Titans 50 through 54 from 1988. Again, George Perez returning to art in the title for that, which that's a great story too. I'm only vaguely aware of the John Byrne retcon with all that Donna as a clone of Diana and the Dark Angel stuff. That's about all I know. I know that Donna was over time tortured and killed and reborn. I don't know, something along. It's too painful for me to think about Donna being used and abused in that way. The character that I never read that stuff. I don't really want to. Then we get the post New 52 / Rebirth era of Donna. I had to look this up because I didn't know. Even though I read the Titans, the New 52 Titans series for a while, or was it the Rebirth? The Rebirth one, yeah, the Rebirth Titans title. Donna was created out of clay to destroy Wonder Woman, but the Amazons later gave her false memories of being an orphan rescued by Wonder Woman. I don't know where that happened, but apparently it did. And then now we're in the post Dark Crisis dawn of DC. Donna has been appearing in the Nightwing series, the Tom Taylor written and mostly drawn by Bruno Redondo Nightwing series, but she's more of a background character as most of the Titans have been so far. So I'm hoping that with them making more appearances in the title, and then also there's the new Titans series written by Tom Taylor and drawn by Nicholas Scott, that we will get even more about Donna. I want to get to know her again as I knew her back in the 80s. And what kind of a person she is, and not just this plaything for writers to torture. Anyway, I still have an affinity for this character, and I'm looking forward, and hopefully won't be disappointed. It being Tom Taylor, I think he's in good, or she's in good hands. So we'll see. I'm very much looking forward to seeing where that goes, and who knows? Maybe I'll talk more about Donna Troy in the future. Well, like I said, I had so many notes, as you can tell. As I'm looking at the recording time, it's almost an hour. Probably be slightly less than that by the time I get done editing. But about a 23-page comic book from 1983. So good stuff. Like I said before, you should go read this. Like, it's available on those various places that I mentioned at the top of the show. And this is kind of what I wanted to do. Like I said in my favorites episode, talking about the future of the show, this is one of the things that I wanted to do. I want to talk about my favorite comic books. This was one of them. And so we'll see where I go next. But this is kind of a sneak peek, if you will, at one of the things that I want to do now with the show. And of course, to reiterate, I'm not retiring. Madison's not taking over, not yet anyway. And I'm here to talk more comic books. Let me know what you think about this issue. If you have any questions about what I've said about this issue, I'd be glad to talk about those on a future episode. You can send email to longboxreview@gmail.com, and the show notes have links to all the various social media platforms that I'm on as well these days, because there's so many. I try. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.